everyone, K Kim here from the Traders Club to tradersclub.com. I want to do a quick update on Apple here. Market is still open. We have about, as I'm uploading this, or as I'm putting this video together, we still have about an hour and a half to go in the market here. Obviously, by the time I'm done with the video, upload it and then send it out to you guys, it probably takes some time. But looking at the Apple here on the 65-minute chart here, you can see there's 65-minute chart. What we have going on right now is that this is a level that we've been watching. This is a level of support, right? You can see that this is a strong level of support. Why is this level continue to act as support? Because this is a level where the buyers, the minor term buyers, are continue to show up, right? People who bought in this vicinity after a certain decline, because after this decline, we saw a lot of dip buyers coming in, brought it back up. We saw another decline here, and that was when the resistance came down. This was back in late September, mid-September or so, and we came down and we saw another buyers coming in this vicinity right here, and then that's when we established this kind of a minor term support here. You can minor to intermediate term actually support here, and this level continue to act as support again, because the psychology and instinctive way of traders looking at things, that we have a certain pullback and then they're gonna buy at this dip, because these people who bought at this level, they were able to profit from this run, and people who are actually trying to short or trying to short sell here, trying to buy some put options, they got burned. So then what happens is next, what they do is they're gonna change up and they're gonna do things a little bit differently, start buying calls or buying shares at that point in this vicinity, and that's the reason why we have this intermediate term trend developing here. Sometimes it's good to see line chart, especially when you're looking at Apple here. Line chart meaning because when you look at a candle, it's really what it's telling you is a fluctuation of that hour, right? We're looking at 65-minute chart. Each candle represent 65 minutes, so it's a fluctuation of that candle or of that hour. However, for the line chart, you can see the closing price, right? What happened after that hour has finished. So a lot of times, especially when you're looking at daily chart, Apple tends to respect a lot of much more after day, the closing price rather than the fluctuation of the day. So it's important that you understand when to look at candles and when to look at line chart. Especially regarding Apple, I will look at both candles and line chart so you can see certain pivot levels a little bit more clearly, right? So one thing that I want to talk about is obviously this was a resistance level we've been watching here, and this was a level that we saw, minor term resistance, a short term sellers in that vicinity. And then right now what we have going on is that we are finally seeing some kind of buyers coming out of that. You can see that right there. You can see that candle moving as we are still live in the market here. We had a very, very strong buying volume here after we threw that shooting star, or not shooting star, but the hammer candle there, right? So you can see when we study this candlestick analysis right on the important pivot, you can see that how we even gotten slightly below that level. This is a reason why it's important to look at a line chart and see what happened after that hour has finished, right? We had that one huge bullish engulfing pattern that was able to grab buyers for a little bit here, and then we threw that hammer candle. We saw the buyers coming in, we saw the supporters coming in supporting its cause, right? Obviously this could very well be a bear flag if this would have continued lower. However, we didn't see continue lower. What we saw was we continued to the upside. So now we can say that this is a bullish hammer candle reversal. And then now we're staying up, right? We're staying up here. We're holding above that level. Obviously, that's just one kind of resistance level here. We're just talking about downtrend resistance, but we still have to work with these horizontal resistance here, and this gap right here was not fully filled, right? Last time when we were working with this gap, buyers attempted to fill this gap, was not filled. So really though, I would have to say that we're still kind of in this bearish kind of thing, though we have a very, very strong bullish momentum going on in the minor term. However, I really want to see price action getting above 120.40, 120.50. Let's fill this gap first, and then let's hold above about 120.40 or so. And if we can do that, And if any kind of pullback comes after this level and then pull back and then retest where this is all resistance, kind of retest level as a new support and then bounce from it and then clearing this high. If we get there, I'm just saying, if we get there, that possibly be a scenario that this is where I would have to say that buyers are declaring victory in the intermediate term there. Actually, let's go to daily chart and see what we can find out here. So looking at the daily chart here, again, each candles represent daily action, right? So looking at candlesticks here, obviously this is something we've been talking about in my videos, that we continue to cultivate higher lows here, right? And anybody can see this, that this low is higher than that low, right? That low is higher than this low, and this low is higher than that low. Elementary kids can see that. What does that mean? That means we're still in this cultivation of intermediate term uptrend with cultivation of higher highs there. Meaning, if this is what I was talking about in 65-minute chart, meaning if we can get well above 120.50, 120.50 or so, and if you can hold above it, that's a good chance that it's going to continue higher and create yet another high. And if it pulls back, it's okay. People always want to call bull traps, and that's so stupid because people always want to call that. That's not a bull trap, that's a cultivation. When the cultivation happens, when we create higher high, it means that when it pulls back from it, it has higher probability that it's going to create higher low, thus continuing with higher lows and higher highs, which means that is a definition of an uptrend, right? What is the definition of an uptrend? Higher lows and higher highs. So looking at this thing here, I mean, things are looking good for the buyers today. Looks like we're going to have a pretty solid volume going into close. And going into next week, if we can able to gap back above 120.50. However, you can see the 200 SMA here, 200-day moving average. The pink line, you're seeing the thick pink line, that was a problem last time. This was right here, November 4. You can see that this was a problem. Again, this is a strong pivot. This acted as support back here, and then it acted as resistance. So there is, a lot of levels that buyers needs to clear before we see public participation happening. What I mean by public participation is we're starting to see a huge move to the upside. There's a lot of attention that Apple is going to get right now, as far as traders and investors are concerned. General traders and investors are concerned. They're still a bit fearful of Apple. That's the reason why we're seeing that we've been hanging out here for a while, and this is the reason why last time we were not even able to finish or fill this gap completely, because there's still fear that lingering around in the intermediate term. But with today's move, there's some positive action, especially if we close strong. And what you want to see towards the end of the day, if you're a bull here, you want to see this thing staying above this level, right? If we can stay above that level, that's a good thing, at least in the minor term. And the next level of resistance will be about 1933 and then 120.20 or so, and then we want to make sure to stay above 120.50 or so towards mid to next week there. So well, I'll talk to you guys later.